Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Dark Souls. I am your host, Crazy Mike, and let's get right back to what we were doing. So I believe we recently killed the Bell Gargoyles. I'm not 100% sure because I haven't played for like a day, so I'm trying to remember where I left off. I'm pretty sure I killed the Bell Gargoyles and so now we gotta go kill Quelaag and maybe make a side trip or two. So first things first. Oh, we actually still have that Firekeeper soul. But first things first, let me expend these souls, to get some souls. I think that's actually enough, but we'll find out. So let's go down and reinforce our Estus Flask, because I'm sure there's probably somebody in the comments of the last video or two going, hey, you still got that Firekeeper soul, go use it. Okay, let's go back up. Let's see if I have enough souls to buy the Force Miracle, because I do have an extra miracle spot, I believe. Yes, I have 12 attunements, so I have 2 slots for spells. This guy doesn't really have anything important to say. He lost his lady, but he's gonna still sell his spells eventually. Here we go. I don't like this guy just because he wastes your time. No, I need 4,000 souls, so let's keep using these souls of Lost Undead. Will I have enough? I actually won't have enough from using those, so I guess we'll just have to get it later. We're gonna make a quick side trip though to the Undead Asylum. We're gonna go back where we started because there's a few things we can get while we're there. So, and some of them are pretty good. One of them is actually they're all really good, really. One's well, the ring's okay. You don't need it, but it's pretty good. You'll be getting a ring there that will allow us to. I fell down like a big dummy. I'll have to run back. Okay. Next time I'll just have to jump. I don't know why, but it seems like you can make that jump more easily with fat rolls than it is with fast rolls. I don't know why. That's Framped snoring, even though he's not actually here yet, which is I've always found kind of odd. Just gonna rest up to get our flask back. Alright, so let's not fuck this up again, because I would hate to do any editing and want that. But at the same time, I'd rather not be running back again. Or, at least not be running back again on the video. So here we go. Let's just do a jump. There we go. Now you're going to jump off the side here because there's actually a key on this rooftop, and if you're careful you can actually get right back on without needing to go up the elevator again, just like that. And now, yeah, we're going to just head up these stairs. We'll find a bird's nest up here, which we will just be chilling in for about 20 seconds or so, because it's sort of a way to make sure you don't just like instantly assume that this is going to be a secret, although I'm pretty sure most people would assume that this is going to be a secret. But you have to sit here for a little while, and the bird, or the crow down there, will fly up and take you back to the Undead Asylum, where we'll be, fighting another boss, getting some nice stuff, a couple of nice things, which, we'll talk about them as we get them. So the bird just picks you up and flies back to the Undead Asylum. No real need to watch that. So these torch dudes are, don't underestimate these guys. These guys can destroy you very easily with a certain move. That move specifically. That move will kill you in one hit, because it will stun lock you, and you will take a lot of damage. Even higher level players need to look out for that move. There's a lot of risk against that move. So don't go through the middle of the room. You want to go to the side of the room. You'll figure out why not to go into the middle room if you don't already know in just a minute here. So we're going to rest back at the bonfire, which we did at the very beginning of the game. And we're going to head back to the room where the knight guy was sitting at. So the hole in the wall is still there, that's nice, but whoa! He's alive and he wants to kill me. He's gone hollow, just as he feared he would when you first talked to him. But with our mighty Zweihander, he is no real problem. We'll wait for him to finish dying, and we get his shield. This is one of my favorite shields in the game, actually, because it's the only it's one of the only shields that actually has good, like, what I would consider to be good magic defense. Other than, of course, Havel's shield, but you can't parry with Havel's shield now, can you? So, that's kind of not a real option in most cases for me. Also, Havel's shield is incredibly heavy. Right, now we're gonna go back in this room again. Now, I'm sure maybe some of you on the first episode was wondering, what on earth is behind that gate if you haven't played Dark Souls before, that is. Well, the reason why I didn't even try to open it is because you can't without that key that we picked up over by Firelink Shrine when we were making our way up to the nest. And behind this, we will find a rusted iron ring. Now, what the rusted iron ring will do is, if, say, we're walking through a swamp or we're standing on a ground that's covered in tar, it will allow us to continue moving at our normal rate, because otherwise it will force us to be walking. Or, you know, if we try to sprint, we'll start jogging instead of, you know, our full-blown running speed, which is particularly helpful. If you want to be a dick wraith in PvP, you can actually purposely try to fight somebody in that kind of area and have the rusted iron ring on and ready to go, and oftentimes they won't completely be ready for it right away. So here's why we didn't walk through the middle of the floor when coming in. We wanted the rest of that bonfire before this happens. We'll quickly rush behind him because lots of times he likes to make an explosion happen just immediately. And if you're in front of him, that will hit you, and typically after taking the fall damage, it will also kill you. Now, he likes to charge up that move a lot, but if you stand farther away from him than his tail is, you'll typically be safe from it. So, the tail is a good marker to understand how far away you need to be safe. Also, this guy is highly susceptible to bleeds, so if you don't have any upgraded weapons or anything like that, you can still do a monstrous amount of damage to him if you have a weapon that causes bleed. He will bleed in about 3 hits if you do them back to back. If there's a pause between hits, it might take 4 or 5, because, you know, the bleed level will go down, and you need to build it up all the way before he bleeds. If you want to do that, I would suggest getting the Morning Star from Firelink Shrine, unless you have a katana or some other type of bleed weapon, because the Morning Star is actually pretty good. You can actually come here at soul level 1 if you grab the Morning Star and be able to take on this boss. Actually, I'm not sure if you'll have the strength to wield the Morning Star at soul level 1, so that's actually a bad example. I got too close to him after he landed, and I took some damage. No big deal though. I'll just keep avoiding these explosions and hitting him in the butt. Make sure you're patient. You can be close to beating this boss, and then he can hit you with an explosion and just immediately kill you. So, best not to treat this fight, best not at any point to think, I've almost got this guy, I just gotta finish him off. Just ignore the health bar. Just imagine that he has unlimited health and you're just trying to hit him while surviving. And you should not have any last second F-ups, which would be a shame, because sometimes that boss can take a long time depending on your weapon. Got a Black Knight over here guarding our cell where we started the game in. I wonder why he's guarding it. I see an item in there. Although, spoiler alert, I don't actually wonder why he's guarding it, because I know why he's guarding it. And here we'll find a peculiar doll. Now, we'll probably figure out what that's for later on in the playthrough. But for now, let's make our way back up. I think we're going to fight the other Black Knight that's here, just so we can get the other red Titanite chunk. But after that, we're going to be heading back to Firelink Shrine. Probably going to start making our way down to fight Quelaag. And also, let me clarify, I have skipped some bosses thus far in this playthrough, but later on, once I've completed everything I feel I need to, and all I have left is the final boss, I'm probably going to be going into New Game Plus. Whether or not I am going to have a playthrough of New Game Plus is yet to be known. Don't bother telling me to do it and want that in the comments, because honestly, that's not really going to make much of a difference. So, whether or not I know if I'm going to be actually doing a on YouTube playthrough of New Game Plus is yet to be known, but I will definitely be completing New Game on YouTube, obviously. But once I get down to the last boss, I will then go back and kill every boss that I skipped. Hopefully I won't forget any. Oh, actually, I forgot that I want to fight the other Black Knight. Fuck it. We don't need to fight him. We don't need to fight the other guy. We're not even going to be using Red Titanite chunks, so we'll just sit here. Bird will take us back. We don't have to wait from this point on. Now that we've already waited once for the bird to take us, if we wanted to go back, we would just have to sit there, and he would take us immediately, which is nice. You know, no need to waste our time with something that we have already accomplished, you know. So we're gonna rest at this bonfire. That way, if we die, we won't be all the way back at the Undead Asylum again, because that would suck. Anyway, let's go buy that force spell now that we have the souls for it. Hopefully he doesn't rant on forever. Oh, it looks like he will. Oh, never mind. He's just gonna talk once, like a big dummy. So force, and while we're here, let's also get homeward, and we're not going to bother with Great Heal Excerpt. Seek Guidance. Sure, why not? Let's get Seek Guidance. If everyone goes off and says, it's a useless spell, why'd you get Seek Guidance? Well, you know, sometimes I feel that the spell goes somewhat underappreciated. If you use the Seek Guidance in front of some NPCs, you'll actually get some interesting, you'll get like a special message in front of them. So actually, let's go see if there's one near Lautrec, or even one near this guy. Don't see any particular message here. Not surprising, because, you know, what would really be the point of having a message in front of that guy? He doesn't have any special dialogue or anything. No messages here either. Perhaps it was left in the cage that he was originally in. All in all, though, I have seen messages from Seek Guidance that I did find helpful. If there's a version of the spell in Dark Souls 2, I might actually carry that with me. Whenever I run into an NPC for the first time, it might be worth using. So we're going to have Force there, because Force is pretty helpful if you get surrounded. And we're going to level up now. So let's level up. Let's get our endurance up a little bit. We'll get faith up 1 as well. Now we're gonna make our way down the Quelaag. We're gonna be taking a big old shortcut. You know, most players will probably know about if they played Dark Souls a couple times. Mainly because they'll probably find it on the internet. Well, then again, I'm sure actually once you get back from the area that we're going to, I'm sure a lot of people would probably realize that if they had the master key, they can actually go backwards through this area and thus get to the boss very quickly. So here we go. We use the master key to get through this door. That's the main reason why you want the master key right there, so you can get through that door that way. Otherwise, you would have to find a key over in this area and go backwards through. But since we are able to go through that one, we have just saved ourselves a lot of time and some trouble going through one of the most annoying areas in the game. We can just run past these guys. They don't really have anything I would want, other than maybe, you know, piles of poo. But we can always just buy poo from a poo-selling merchant. Which, I'm sure anyone who hasn't played Dark Souls is probably like, what the fuck is he talking about? It's an item you can throw at people, which can toxify them, which does damage over time. But, you know, if you throw too many and maybe your toxic resistance is too low, you can actually toxify yourself, because, I mean, after all, you have to pick up the poo and throw it. So that only makes sense. Now, do I have... I do not. Let's equip these blooming purple moss clumps, because they will be quite vital to what we're about to do. Otherwise, we'll likely die. So we're going to try to dodge these blow darts. If you get hit by one of these blow darts, you will almost immediately be toxified, depending on the armor that you have on, because, you know, you have different amounts of resistance to toxic, depending on your armor. And you can actually drop on force, which is super useful, or would be super useful if we didn't buy them. But since we already bought them, oh, we got toxified. So now we don't have to worry about getting hit by these guys' darts. We can just fight them. We'll eat a blooming purple moss clump in a little bit, but first, we're going to try to kill off as many of these guys as we can before eating it, because they are in a limited supply. I can't quite reach that one, so we might have to tough that one out. These dang mosquitoes are the most annoying thing in this area, because they have a tendency to show up all the time when you don't want them to. Let's have another one. We're not quite going to have this yet. Now, we're going to do a plunging attack down here, because the dogs, I know I'm kind of going through this area fast and explaining it fast as I'm going through it, but it's just because I am on the clock with the toxic, and now I'm not, but now I also have to try to avoid getting toxified again. We're going to run past these dogs because they can be a royal pain, and just hightail it up the ladder. They usually don't hit you. Sometimes they do, but it's almost never enough to kill you, as long as you keep your health up in this area. So we have that toxic guy. He actually moved back down there before he continued shooting, but that's no big deal. These toxic dart shooting guys do not respawn when you kill them, so that's always good to know. If maybe you're near a bonfire and there's maybe one nearby the bonfire, you might want to just keep trying to kill him and then rest at the bonfire, so you know you don't have to waste the toxic healing thing. He's actually able to shoot at me from here. Let's just get down here. Hopefully we won't get invaded before getting to the bonfire. There actually is an NPC invader though, which I am expecting because I am in human form, called Maneater Mildred, which is basically a naked lady with a giant butcher knife and a bag on her head. And there she is, Dark Spirit Maneater Mildred. And there's even some summoning signs here, so maybe we'll get a little bit of co-op. Now we'll just wait for Maneater Mildred to get here. We'll one-hand our weapons so we can parry, and let's see if we can destroy her in one hit. Or two, since the parry animation is technically 2 swings. Not quite, but we will follow up with another hit. No, we won't. Those mosquitoes are just getting in the way. That's why I hate them. They always show up when you're trying to do something, and they just get in the way. So she dropped some items, she dropped some humanity, and that butcher knife she was using, which is a pretty good strength weapon. It will actually steal health on hit, though it's a rather small amount, so you probably won't notice it unless perhaps you're using it in PvE for an extended period of time. Oh, I didn't want to rest at the bonfire. I wanted to touch that sign, but now it's gone, so thanks a lot, bonfire. Now we're going to try to summon this guy, and while we're waiting for him, we're going to run over here, and we're going to get a treasure chest that's in here, which contains a dragon scale. This will be particularly useful if you want to either use dragon weapons, or if you want to go into the Dragon Covenant, or even both. Because they are an upgrade material, you also turn them into the Covenant to gain ranking in that Covenant. So we're not going to particularly be waiting for this guy. We're just, maybe if it says summoning failed, we'll try another sign, but we'll move on immediately after whether or not it fails. Because I am starting to get to the amount of time I want to with this episode, but I don't want to stop with the boss right there. Although, you know, maybe it would be a good idea to stop with the boss right there. But, you know, now that I've kind of taunted you guys in a way by saying that the boss is right there, that would be kind of a dick move, so let's just move on. And hey, this guy's sign is back, so let's just try to summon him, put on the rusted iron ring so we can move quickly through this swampy water. So the summoning for the first guy failed. Oh no. But we'll just start making our way through here nice and quickly because we have that rusted iron ring equipped. We're not affected by this water at all, in terms of speed at least. It will still poison us, of course. But that's no big deal. We can cure that poison in just a moment. Once we get out of the water, we'll do that. Now, I don't want to waste a blooming purple moss clump because they are more rare than regular purple ones. The difference between them is blooming purple moss clumps will cure poison and toxic, whereas regular purple ones will only cure poison. Now, toxic is the more deadly one that you saw with those blow dart guys that was draining my health very rapidly. But poison's not so bad. You can actually outlive poison for the most part. You can outlive toxic, but you'll probably end up using almost all your Estus Flasks in the process. Now we're out of that water, so let's re-equip this wolf ring. And you'll see here, Man-Eater Mildred, the phantom we killed. This will show up after you kill her. Now the thing is, there's actually a trick to these boss fights. If you start to summon somebody, and then you go inside before they show up, the boss will not be scaled up to reflect the extra players fighting them, which is actually something I forgot to mention. If you have extra players, the boss will have more health and will thus take longer to kill. But if you try to start to summon somebody, and then you run in, and the boss gets loaded up before they show up, the boss will not scale up, which is pretty nice. We're going to use that trick right here, mainly for the purpose of saving time. We're going to start summoning Man-Eater Mildred, and we'll go in here. Besides, the Man-Eater Mildred is pretty dumb anyway. So we are going to just quickly run over to the boss, try to avoid that first attack. Sometimes that can be a pain to avoid because they'll just get so up in your face with it that it's just too hard to avoid for sometimes. Oh, now you see her rubbing the head. That means that big old explosion is going to happen. That will typically one-shot you unless you deflect some of the damage with your shield. If you take the full brunt of that, you will likely die in one hit. So you have to be careful about that. Also, you may have noticed oh, I think she's rubbing the head. You'll also notice the legs kind of scrunch in a bit when she's rubbing the head. The spider looks more relaxed, sort of. So you have to try to pay attention to that, even if you can't see Quelaag herself on the spider's head. Or more like in the spider's head, I guess. So, this is almost taken care of already. It's pretty quick. And there it goes. So you may have noticed towards the start of that fight, I was actually... the Quelaag was actually swinging at me, but I was standing right in her face, and I actually wasn't taking any damage. If you sort of stand in the section between the spider's head and their front leg, between that, kind of like a head, leg, armpit sort of thing, as weird as that sounds, she almost always won't hit you. She will sometimes, but it's never really enough to kill you unless you try to do it with very low health. But yeah, it's a good opportunity to get a lot of hits in. You just go into her head, arm, leg, armpit, and start swinging away. So, this message right here, try attacking. We'll do that, sir. And boom, we found a hidden wall, or a hidden area. Fake wall. So this guy here.
Oh dear. What have we here? Are you a new servant?
Now, regardless if you want to be a servant or not, it's usually a good idea to say yes to this guy, because there's no real consequence.
But you have no eggs. No matter. Go along and have audience with our fair lady. I pray that you will mind your manners.
Now, this guy's going to slowly shuffle along. And you'll see here another spider lady, kind of similar to Quelaag, except, different color scheme. This is Quelana, if I recall the name correctly. And she's a firekeeper, so she can actually reinforce my Estus Flask with the firekeeper soul I got earlier, making it a +3/1. If you try to talk to her, she'll never say anything. Well, not never. There is an item in the game that you can find where if you use it, or wear it, or whatever it is you have to do with it, I'm not going to say, at least not yet, she will speak to you because she actually thinks you're a different person. You can also enter her covenant, which I'm going to do because why not? And joining that covenant will teach you a certain spell for pyromancers mainly, but anyone can really be a pyromancer as long as you have the attunement slot, so it's worthwhile learning either way. And that is the Great Chaos Fireball. This is the strongest fireball you can have, and I believe it scales with your humanity up to 10. So anyway, with that, I think we're going to end this episode. This seems like a good enough stopping place with how weird it is. But yeah, made some progress. We killed the Asylum Demon, we killed Quelaag, we got some items, we got a Titanite slab and the Crest Shield, what that. And with that, I believe we're going to be ending the episode. I'll be starting another one right after this, and I will see you then.